Meve raised her sword high and swept it down with enormous strength, cutting the scaled belly in twain. The monster bellowed out a long roar and writhed its tail, scattering diamonds everywhere. Then grew still. Keltalis, the last red dragon between the Great Sea and the fiery mountains, had breathed his last. There followed a strange silence. No one cheered, no one clapped. Only Ache whispered a prayer of thanks under his breath.
That was...
Gascon said, the first to break the silence.
not terribly epic.
What'd you expect?
Gabor said, arms akimbo.
Fanfare and fireworks. The mountain to quake. He up and died. What else would he do?
I am certain, Your Grace,
Reynard said,
that the poets will endow this moment with the appropriate splendor.
I'm sure they will,
the Queen said, sheathing her sword.
for they are liars.
The Queen told her soldiers to gather a part of the dragon's treasure, small enough not to bring down the wrath of Bruverhoog, but large enough to fully compensate the Lyrians' losses. And Meve gained the title of Dragon Slayer, though she rarely made much mention of it. Meve squinted, the better to see the scene. Several dozen dwarves had gathered on the cliff overlooking the chasm. All were turned towards a ramp, at the peak of which stood a barrel.
What is that gathering about?
Asked the Queen.
Have we a feast day?
Nay,
Answered Gabor grimly.
'tis an execution.
A hairy head peeked out of the barrel. The long, pointy nose and ears left no doubt that it belonged to a gnome. The first Meve had ever seen in her life.
Help! Save me!
The gnome yelled.
They They aim to kill me! Cast me in the chasm!
Shut your maw!
Barked the dwarf standing next to him, who then shoved the gnome inside the barrel and covered it with a lid.
Your crimes! The sheer weight of it, hey! No lighter punishment is fitting!
The other gathered dwarves nodded approvingly. Two gripped the barrel, lay it on its side, then lifted it to cast in the chasm, paying the thumping from inside it no heed. The queen mounted up and squeezed her mare with her knees to urge her forward. Soon after, she heard a loud, wailing cry, the sound of wood splintering, 100 dwarves cheer, and then quiet. Meve leapt from her horse and, ignoring Gabor's objections, scrambled up the ramp.
Oi! You're not allowed! Hey, damn it! What do you think you're doing?
I think it's obvious. Preventing the execution.
Thanks be to the gods!
Whoa, wench, you've no such right. Judgment's been handed down. Sentencing's done.
Yes, and a cruel sentence it is. One that prompts me to wonder what the accused did to deserve it.
Better to ask what he didn't do, the varmint. Arrived here with his peddler's wagon full of tricks and gadgets. Went from house to house, praised his rubbish to the high heavens. And what's it he sold us? Bombs that go off in your hand. Beard growth formula that makes your hair catch fire. Music boxes for the kiddies. Once cranked, they never ploughing stop.
You needed but to loosen the screw in the back and...
Shut your maw, ye roaster. Doesn't it matter all that? 'Cause we'd have forgiven it if he hadn't broken our sacred rules and hallowed customs.
Which ones, if you don't mind me asking?
Enter the smithy, cap on his head, held nails between his teeth, and poured fruit syrup in his beer. Raspberry. Blech.
just the once, and but a few drops.
You got nothing to explain your villainy, scoundrel. Not a thing. And that's not even the worst. Saved his highest crime for the end. He was in a mine. And he whistled.
Oh, aye, that's bad. Shouldn't have done that.
Aye, he did. Whistled. Through his teeth. And hummed in harmony, a long warble. We all heard it up and down the shaft, and our grandelders were clear. Death's the punishment. Death by barrel roll.
Truly will kill him? For whistling? This is absurd.
Exactly.
Perhaps for use, but you're in our lands, where our laws rule, and strangers didn't get a say.
Calm yourself. Perhaps there is yet a way.
Enough for this jabbering! Lads, stuff him in a barrel and give it a good kick down the hill.
Well, at least I tried. Do what you must, Master Dwarf.
Ah! Finally! With bloody pleasure.
No! No!
The dwarves would have their way. The barrel rolled over the cliff, the unfortunate gnome inside. As the Lyrians marched from the site of the peculiar execution, they bore in their hearts a strong resolve to do nothing to offend their hosts.
Stop! Wait!
Crevens! What the bloody hell you want now?
Seems you're not inclined to grant mercy to anyone, I wager. Yet perhaps you'd be willing to sell it.
Well, the law does allow for something of the sort. But I don't see how that job is worth it.
Oh, aye! He is! He is!
Willing I am to take him at his word. Does that suffice?
Aye. But just so's we're clear. No returns, no refunds. Now get the hell out of that barrel, you wee shite.
Your land, your laws, I shall not argue with them. But perhaps there is another way. Can a bail be posted?
Well, the law does allow for something of the sort. But I don't see how that job is worth it.
Oh, aye! He is! He is!
Willing I am to take him at his word. Does that suffice?
Aye. But just so's we're clear. No returns, no refunds. Now get the hell out of that barrel, you wee shite!
Your laws I do not understand. Yet, as a guest, I must respect them.
No, nay, never! You needn't. Not at all.
Ha! Finally! A human who didn't try to teach us how to live. A fine wench you are, in lots of ways. You can give the barrel a kick yourself if you want, hmm?
I beg your pardon? No, certainly not.
The dwarves would have their way. The barrel rolled over the cliff, the unfortunate gnome inside. As the Lyrians marched from the site of the peculiar execution, they bore in their hearts a strong resolve to do nothing to offend their hosts.
Wait 1 minute. What exactly does the Four Dwarfs Codex say? Which stricture did he violate?
What did... How's it a wench and a human one to boot? Know about the code?
This human wench has a head, and a capacious one. Well, have you an answer?
The code says thus. 'Tis a crime most grievous to whistle in a mine. Any dwarf committing the cock-up shall be placed in a barrel at once. Said barrel then to be rolled down a mountain.
Any dwarf. The situation's clear. If my senses do not deceive, the accused is a gnome.
Aye, but the code's not to be taken literal like. It's to be interpreted. What the ancient elders had in their heads, why, that's got to be divined.
Nothing to be divined here. You got to be a dwarf to be a dwarf, not no bloody gnome.
So, am I, meaning, I'm free to go?
Perchance we ought to let the elder-in-chief rule on the matter.
Oh, aye. Oh, for we all ken how old Hoog loves been bothered with such things.
Ah, fine. Now get the hell out of that barrel and out of my sight, you hairy hamshanker.
My lady, I haven't a way to thank you.
That we've yet to discuss. Perhaps first we should learn each other's names?
Aye, yes, of course. What a prat of me. Barnabas. Barnabas Beckenbauer. To friends, Bibi.
Meve, Queen of Lyria and Rivia.
Queen? Cows in the corn, colour me honoured. Your Majesty, obeisance due.
None necessary. Protocols for use at court, not beyond it. An inventor you deem yourself. Am I right?
Most assuredly. Though, truth be told, the dwarves saw no ingenuity in my craft. Seems I'm ahead of my time.
Fiery bursts in the palm of your hand. They shall be in fashion one day, to your mind.
Oh, nay, just a bit of misfortune, that's all that was. You see, I mistook mercury fulminate for saltpeter. The vials stood beside each other, see, and...
The details I need not know. But one matter I am curious about. Could you construct a bomb that would explode when desired? For instance, beneath my foe's feet as they stepped over it.
Of course I can! It's simple.
Why then? You wish to show your gratitude? You must join my ranks. Assist me to defeat Nilfgaard.
Defeat Nilfgaard? Pure ambition, that is. But I'd have been a barrel of broken bones at the bottom of a ravine, if not for you. I'll do what you ask to pay off my debt.
And thus, for the first time in Lyrian annals, a gnome enlisted with the army. And though Barnabas Beckenbauer was diminutive of body, this new recruit would prove his worth on more than one occasion.
Well, a damn shame. What with such good visibility today, too? Well, a damn shame. What with such good visibility today, too?
Every year more monsters crawl out for spring cleaning. Remember, if you pass a snail en route to the mine, share a wee bite with him. Never, ever whistle in the mines. Now hold on. Pour ye some hoots first. Makes for merrier marching when things get frosty.
Your Majesty, allow me once again to express my undying gratitude.
You're most welcome, Barnabas, but please, we haven't need for any formalities when speaking alone.
Well, of course. How might I help you then?
I like to know. No, I must know who I travel with. Please do tell me about yourself.
About me? I've most civil relations with dwarves, as you saw. But is there anything in particular you'd like to know?
Why not start at the beginning? Tell me where you hail from, perhaps.
Oh, right. I was born in the distant south, in Tir Tochair. My mother was a washerwife, my father, an armourer. Soon as I'd passed 40 winters and could strike out on my own, I left the family, my native parts. So I've been on the road now about, 20-odd years.
Indeed. A rather long while. Did the South simply not suit you?
Oh, I wouldn't say that exactly. It's just staying would have meant stepping into my father's shoes. Then forging blade after blade, plate after plate. Oh, just thinking on it sets my head a-spinning. Not for me, that, no. No, nature. The world's so rich in mysteries, in wonders left to discover, and ways to make it a better place.
By building bombs that explode in the hand, for instance.
As those bearded fellas say, Mahakam wasn't built in a day. Besides, nobody was seriously hurt by those malfunctions. Not many, at any rate.
At the moment, have you any invention you've worked on? One that's near complete?
Oh, so kind. Oh, wonderful, you should ask. See, I've ever had an avian fascination. For birds, you see. Their wings, bones. The structure's perfect. The aerodynamicism, the plumage. In short, I believe I can fly.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, I'm learning to fly. Fly. You've not misheard. I, Barnabas Beckenbauer, will be the first gnome... what am I saying? The first mammal to free himself of the soil's bondage and soar to the clouds.
But aren't bats also?
A detail. This is no time to be petty. No, but frankly, my preparations are far advanced, and I'm rather optimistic about my design and prospects. I've calculated every trajectory, every force. It all works out. Just need to do a few more field tests.
Well, I wish you good fortune. Though, please, try not to damage anything or anyone in my camp.
Oh, never fear, Your Majesty. Incidentally, you've not seen a little brown box lying round, have you? Actually, forget I mentioned it. I'm sure it'll turn up before it explodes.
Did you have volunteers try it, or did you test the design yourself?
Naturally, I must stay on the ground. who take all the measurements elsewise. Luckily, there's no lack of thrill seekers in Mahakam. Most eager to etch themselves into the annals. My first prototype, the Sky Licker, I dubbed it. Oh, Your Majesty, if you'd only seen the beauty. Flew over 120 Ls.
Truly? Colour me impressed indeed. Must have made quite the name for himself, your brave volunteer. I'm certain he's caught the eye of every she-dwarf in Mahakam since.
Oh no, he's dead. The landing, it was rough. And then a bear sauntered by, didn't help any. Anyhow, as he died, the dwarf swore he regretted nothing. Brave lad. A bit daft, though.
I see. But the next time you request I try one of your inventions, I'd ask you to remind me of this touching tale. Time I attended to other matters.
Ah, yes, you're still here. Off you go, then.
A blizzard's blowing in. Your Grace, perhaps we'd best pitch camp and wait for clear weather.
Tain't a bad idea. Said we might be waiting a week.
Then we march on. We've no time to waste. While we ride to and fro begging aid, Nilfgaard grows in power. We must obtain reinforcements as quickly as possible and liberate our home.
This could hurt. Watch your heads!
For you, pal! Anything.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away. Bigger they are, easier they are to target. Thing about slings, they hide well. Hey?
My pain serves a purpose.
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
We must trust each other.
Prepare to fight, if you've any honor.
Make love, not war.
Niamh rode on in silence, endeavoring to work out the length of her exile thus far. A scout's call tore her from her reverie.
Your Grace! You must see this!
With a grave mien, the soldier indicated a track in the snow. The hobnail boot print was all too familiar. Niamh had seen it before, upon Lyria's sandy tracks, and midst the ashes to which Edirn had been turned.
Nilfgaardian footmen.
Seethed Niamh.
Marched through of late.
Interrupted Gascon.
A day, perhaps 2 days past.
The scouts had learned a Nilfgaardian caravan with an armed escort had recently arrived in Mahakam. The invaders had brought with them chests brimming with gold and jewels, then exchanged these for the finest Mahakaman-forged swords and spears. A scout gave Niamh one of the coins the Blackclads had used for payment. Upon the coin's back, the Lyrian eagle.
They pay with gold from my vault.
The Queen said through gritted teeth.
For arms that will cut down my fighting men and subjects.
We might yet pursue and hunt them down,
said Reynard, a spark in his eye.
And make certain Eddahi never lays hands on those weapons.
You might, I can.
Piped up Gabor, who had been listening to their exchange.
But you might also recall, We Mahakimans are neutrals who assure all guests within our borders safety. True, formally speaking, the Nilfgaardians have passed outside them, but attack him a stone's throw from our gates, and you'll see Brewer's rage come out his ears as steam, and out his arse as fire.
No war's outcome has been swayed by a few wagons of arms, no matter their quality.
Said the Queen, vaulting into her saddle.
Yet if we turn Brewer against us, I dare say we shall never wrest our land from black-clad hands.
The Queen's men regretted her reluctance to attack, but none tried to dissuade her. They knew her too well.
Gabor, forgive me,
said the Queen.
This caravan we must attack. I must stop the Nilfgaardians. And entirely apart, I should be quite content to watch Brewer spew fire.
Gabor's mouth gaped as he tried to protest, but the Lyrian soldier's laughter drowned out his grunts. Neve gave the signal to depart. Soon after, Queen and company descended upon the foe's caravan, and a battle ensued.
I want that transport in one piece!
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Ha! Life is mine now.
Oh, could murder a pint.
Wise choice.
I said I wish to capture the transport!
How did that incantation go? My pain serves a purpose.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman?
Have her done in a jiffy.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Scheiß! In zwei!
Watch your heads! Catch!
to the front yet again.
Company! Forward march!
Hey?
The transport's ours.
Crushed by their defeat, the Nilfgaardians tossed the chests into the snow lining the road and rode off with a cracking of their whips. One chest burst open, revealing a weapon wrapped in greased leather. Gascon removed the leather and held aloft a sigil that shone with newly forged luster. He examined it from all sides, then put his thumb to its blade. Blood immediately squirted out.
Ooh! Sharp bastard.
He said, clearly impressed. Hearing these words, Gabor unexpectedly burst out laughing.
What's got you so tickled, if you don't mind my asking?
Custom holds. The first words out a warrior's mouth upon seeing a sill become the blade's name. So, congrats. You've dubbed it.
Gascon stood there awkwardly as Meve took the weapon from him.
I'd have chosen a different name personally, one with a bit more dignity. But Sharp Bastard has an undeniable charm. And I cannot wait to try it out on Nilfgaardian plate.
Aye, but perhaps nae in Mahakam.
Gabor interjected.
You've made a fine enough mess for yourselves as is. Gonna need to amend for it somehow. And that'll nae be easy.
Tidings of Meve's deeds soon reached Bruver Hoog's meaty ears. And though there was no fire, despite Gabor's insistence to the contrary, there was also no doubt the Elder-in-Chief was livid. Only the Zigrin's intercession on their behalf kept the Lyrians from being thrown out of the mountains.
Don't you worry yourself, Your Grace. We'll get her done in no time.
If anyone asks, you've not seen me. There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
We shan't pass this way.
Oh, Reynard, whatever would we do without you? Plummet off the cliff like lemmings, no doubt.
Meve squinted and gazed off into the distance. It seemed to her that hundreds of black patches covered the peaks on the horizon. Once she had ridden up closer, she realized these were the windows of homes carved out of solid rock.
Our pride this was,
sighed Gabor.
Burra's Rump. A city carved out of mountain rock. Hundreds of miles of tunnels, dozens of steelworks, smithies and forges. Now, it's a vast lair to monsters. They ooze from underground, weave their nests, hatch their young, and when hunger hits them in the gut, they prowl down into the pass.
Meve stood at the entrance to the underground city. The monumental gate, cast in bronze, lay on the ground, folded multiple times as a scroll of paper. Out of blackened windows oozed a stench of rotting meat and mold. The Queen bent an ear to hear water dripping, and, in the distance, a metallic scraping. A sound akin to chitinous scales rubbing against rock.
The soldiers await your order, your grace,
said Reynard quietly, as if he feared he would wake the beasts asleep in the caverns.
Do you recall my words as we fled Lyria?
Said Meve, turning to Reynard.
You swore you would retake your crown, even if you had to penetrate hell to do so.
Time to follow that oath.
The Queen inhaled deeply and stepped forward, her sword raised and prepared to strike or parry. Moments later, it was swinging, fighting, as the current tenants of Burra's Rump came out to meet her.
This stench is foul.
I'd like to make it known that us gnomes don't run so fast. You know, in case you're planning to skip out on the quick.
Watch your heads! Catch!
Ah, damn it! They're hatching! Place is about to swarm with creepers! All right, that's no problem.
Though I walk through the valley of darkness, I shall fear no evil.
Hey?
I'll fight to my last breath.
As ordered.
I think you'll really like this one.
The unworthy shall be punished.
We must trust each other.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away.
This way! Follow me!
Though wounded, Neve approached the Shaelmar, which lay writhing on the ground. She then ran her sword through its heart, finishing it. Yet so spent was she that she lacked the strength to pull her blade from between the plates of the chitinous armor.
The beast near took me.
She whispered.
It was very close.
The Lyrians reached a vast hall that had once served the clans as their meeting room. The stone benches were covered in sticky slime and insectoid eggs, while bats of varying size hung from the crystal chandeliers. Gascon rummaged through old, weathered bones, surely hoping to find something of value. Gabor, in turn, was at a shut and locked door, grappling with it as if it were a deadly beast. The door finally gave way with a sigh, and the dwarf raised his arms in a triumphant gesture.
It's a storeroom. Should hold miners' tools aplenty,
he said, enthused.
Some barrels of alchemical brews in here, too. Lucky there's no sign of moisture. They haven't soaked through. All's we've got to do is roll them out into the corridor and set a bit of fire to them. And whoomph! We'll have sealed the beasts off from the pass once and for all.
Meve treated the dwarves' instructions as hallowed. Soon after, the mountains trembled from a powerful explosion. Rubble came down and blocked the tunnels. They say the plumes of smoke escaping the window openings in the rock could be seen as far as Aldersburg.